Everyone to this new episode of the Privacy Rules Privacy Espresso series. My name is Alessandro Di Mattia, Legal and Executive Officer at Privacy Rules. Today, as a guest, I'm pleased to be joined by Mira Suleimenova. She is Director of Compliance and Legal at Jentis, an IT company based in Vienna that provides server-side tracking solutions. And this is what we are going more or less to discuss together with Mira. A few weeks ago, we also had Tomislav Rashev, that is a colleague of Mira, that I thank as well, of course, for having another espresso with us. And we have been opening a topic that we will be discussing further with Mira today, that is the one of synthetic data. Tomislav has given us a little overview on what they are and how they can be used, but today we will go deeper into this topic. And first of all, I would like to thank Mira for being with us today to explain this to us.
Thank you, Alessandro, for having us, both me and my colleague Tomislav. I'm really pleased and quite honored to be invited to such an interesting conversation.
Thanks a lot, Mira, and it's our pleasure actually to have you and the Jentis team and also to learn a bit more on what your team and your capabilities are in relation to the topic. So you have been invited exactly as an expert that is working in a company that is working exactly with those type of data. So let's quickly start on the topic of today that as said is synthetic data. So how does synthetic data, first of all, differ from real data in terms of privacy protection, so data protection?
So I would like to explain the difference in synthetic data and real data in the context of what Jentis is doing. So basically, if you look at the current situation with online marketing and online tracking, currently, most of the marketing campaigns are run through the so-called cookies, where the real data is being collected from the real users. And usually it's done through a third-party tool, like, for example, Google Analytics or Facebook. And that tool, third-party vendor, would work with this real-time, real user data and then provide reports to the business that is running the website. If we look at the current regulation, the current status, and the current problematic of this way how the marketing done online, we will see that there are plenty of challenges to overcome with this. And most importantly, the biggest challenge is how do you match the increasing amount of data against the quality of data? How do you make sure that as a business you collect data that is high quality and that is compliant or collected compliantly? And I believe that synthetic data should solve these problems, because if real data is subject to a lot of regulations, it has to be very accurate, it has to be safeguarded, and it has to be subject to a very high standard of safeguards and protection. Synthetic data, on the contrary, is not a real data. It's something that is generated for the purpose of emulating behavior of real users. And given available technology, it's already possible. So if we imagine the alternative scenario of what I hope the future of real marketing would look like pretty soon, is that the website owners, business owners that are selling their products online will be able to work with their marketing teams on the data, or like provide the marketing for products on the basis of synthetic data. And basically that would be very close to reality data sets that are not connected to the real user. And based on that, it's possible, for example, to target a certain group of users that indicated their interest in a certain product and that did not provide their personal data. So basically, if you for example, a shoe business, a business that is selling shoes, and you know that, for example, among people who are buying the shoes are a lot of people who are going hiking. Mm-hmm. So with synthetic data, it would be possible to provide the marketing campaign or to target the group of audience, not specific users, but a group of audience who already indicated their interest in hiking, for example.
Okay, perfect. That's a very clear, let's say, first introduction to the differences between real data and synthetic data. And I think that the next question would be more on the practical side. So I would like to ask you which are the potential application of this type of data, in particular for what concerns, of course, privacy. And do you think, or you experienced any limitation or challenge in using them?
Yes, of course. I mean, now the previous answer was actually a very real life example, and this is how Jentis, for example, using the synthetic data technology, because we provide a possibility for business owners and website owners to target the audience based on synthetic data. One of the applications could be, for example, using the data for research. If a website of the company is collecting certain type of data, the synthetic data would allow to conduct specific research as to what type of audiences are coming to the website, what type of behavior is being done or being exposed or illustrated at the website, or what is typical online behavior, for example, for this type of segment or this type of product. And that data could be then freely shared with players of the market, so that the products and services could be provided on a better basis, even better pricing, etc. So another type of application could be A/B testing, for example, which is right now also is kind of difficult with real data, because the real data currently is lacking quality, since there are a lot of blockers of advertising that are used by certain browsers, or users explicitly do not provide consent or reject consent. So that's why the data that is being collected in real time is usually having a lot of noise, and it's not a real representation of the real behavior of the users. And that's why things like A/B testing, for example, or direct marketing, direct targeting of the real users is becoming very difficult.
Yeah, and that's very clear, and I understand that this is in particular way to not just enhance privacy from the one side, by basically I understand that it's a form of I think we can define it a form of pseudonymization of data, right?
If we look at it from the legal side, how can we qualify the synthetic data? The general majority of opinions qualify synthetic data as pseudonymous data.
Okay, that's very interesting. And on the other side, I understand that this is also a way to actually support marketing teams in order to provide them with some sort of information that can be actually used by them without being, blocked by ad blockers or other forms of protection. So that's very interesting to know, because normally we have this tendency to think that, without having the direct data of people, we won't be able to market them. But then there are solutions like yours that can support marketing teams in keep working without remaining compliant, let's say, or protecting people's and personal data. I have just one last question in relation to these and how solutions like yours works, that is related more to data quality and validity and what we call normally data utility. So in your experience as well, how can organizations ensure quality and validity of synthetic data to maintain privacy while preserving data utility on the other side. I think it's a balance between privacy and data utility here.
Yes, this is exactly the challenge that such technologies are facing right now, because it's very tricky to work with the real data so that it would be, as close as to the behavior that we want to emulate with synthetic data. And I think the answer to this is technology. How can you train the algorithm so that it would be providing the data that is already, artificially generated, but that would generate the data that could allow us to understand the behavior of the real users. And that would depend, of course, on the quality of data that is fed into the machine learning algorithm, and how what type of conditions do we need to impose on the algorithm so that it would produce specific and very realistic data sets. And that's the task for our developers.
I can imagine that is not a very easy task, but sounds extremely interesting and extremely promising. So I definitely hope, as you were saying in your incipit, that marketing will be aligned with those type of solution as the one that you provide. I would like to thank you very much, Mira, for being with us today. It's been a pleasure knowing a bit more about you and about Jentis solutions. I really look forward to meeting you again in the future, possibly with new developments of your capabilities and experiences that you'd like to share with us. I also thank our audience for being with us also in this Privacy Espresso episode. So thank you, Mira. Thank you, everyone. And looking forward to meeting you next week with the next Privacy Espresso episode. Bye.
Thanks a lot, Alessandro.